So you're admitting it then, Darren says, perplexed. Just like that. Why not? Meredith says while shrugging, your friend seems to have most of it figured out, so why prolong the inevitable? She pauses. However, Meredith continues, I would like to point out that there were in fact two things that my nephew got wrong in his analysis. First of all, we do not in fact have thousands of stat devices hidden inside the cities of Arathia. We bought all those devices so that we could disassemble them and use their parts to create energy extractors that would be far more potent than stat boosters themselves. Secondly, nobody ever said that we would not grant you access to the Magium. Are you serious? I asked Meredith. You're saying I'm supposed to believe that you'll give the tournament participant their prize when you've already admitted that the whole contest is just a ruse. You misunderstand me, Meredith says. Obviously, the tournament winner won't be getting anything. What I was saying is that I'm willing to give you access to the Magium. You and all your friends and all of you need to do for this is to provide a little assistance to me. Provide assistance, Kate says. What kind of assistance exactly? You see, Meredith says, the reality is that this whole tournament that you've been part of until now has only been organized because of one person. Ever since the destruction of Olmnar 20 years ago, the King of Arathia and the Lesethi have been working together for a single common purpose. After 20 arduous years, we have finally found a way to achieve it. By the end of this tournament, there will finally be justice. By the end of the tournament, Aiden will be dead. So you want us to kill Aiden for you, is that it? Hardrick says, no. Meredith says, we will be the ones to deal with Aiden. This is the entire reason why we began amassing so much energy in the first place. So it's a good thing we told her about that the Aiden can detect him so that they can be a bit more of a trouble. But it's a good thing. I think this was perfect. We told them that Aiden can detect them, but we didn't tell them that we were told to kill Aiden. So somewhere in between. So we don't become Aiden's single-handed enemy. That is the entire reason why we began amassing so much energy in the first place. Then what is it you want from us? I want you to be our backup plan in case anything goes wrong, Meredith says. If there's anything that I've learned in the past few weeks is that no matter how carefully thought out a plan is, it can still fail spectacularly if you're unlucky enough. That is why I'd like to have you as an insurance. Don't worry, I'm not asking you to go on a suicide mission. Even if by some miracle Aiden managed to survive until the end of the tournament, he will be very weak in state after we're done with him, weak enough that your group should have no problem finishing him. If you agree to provide assistance to such a scenario, I will personally grant you unlimited access to the Magium node that we visited together earlier. Just to be clear, you don't have any intention of actually revealing your secret plans to us, do you? Darren says, I'm afraid not, Meredith says. If by any chance Aiden were to capture you and extract this information from you in some way, all our efforts will have been in vain. I cannot allow that to happen. You said that you would grant us access to the Magium if something went wrong with your plans, and we offered help, Kate says. But if nothing bad happens, I assume with everything goes exactly the way you planned it, and you kill Aiden without our help, what then? Then you would still gain access to the Magium, Meredith says. I'm not sure if you realize this, but in order for you to be our backup plan, I will need you to remain in Arathia until the end of the tournament. This means that you will need to keep participating in the contest and to complete your objectives unless you want to risk being kicked out of the continent by the kings. As long as you are willing to make this effort, you deserve to have your prize no matter what the outcome of our final confrontation with Aiden will be. Here's the thing, what's the point of getting access to the Magium? It's not like sitting around the Magium any longer than we already have is going to do something different. And whenever we go near its fragment, it's just a pain in the ass. Like every time we get access to the Magium, it's just a real pain in the ass. So I'm not sure if that's what we want. And we already got access to the Magium, we just touched it. And it's not like we can keep touching it, otherwise our brain will go, kind of pour out of our ears and nose. But okay. So if we were to agree to help you, the kings would not know about our arrangement, Kate asks. No, Meredith says, this deal is only between you and me. The kings do not know that we have a Magium node of our own, so they cannot find out that I'm willing to grant you access to it as a reward for your assistance. In other words, I'm making this offer to you as the leader of the Lesethi, not as an official organizer of the tournament. Let me repeat myself. All you have to do is continue to participate in the tournament just like you were doing before, to assist us against Aiden in the very unlikely scenario that our plan should fail, and you will all be granted the prize you've been seeking the whole time without even having to win the contest. She then gets up from a chair and looks at each of us in turn. I've given you my offer, Meredith says. Whether you choose to accept it or not is up to you. She then pauses for a few seconds before she continues. So, Meredith says, what's it going to be? The 11th chapter of the third book is now available, however, it is not the final chapter of the book. The book will have 12 chapters in total. I'm very sorry for the huge delay. I've had a very bad stress-induced writer's block that started with the invasion of Ukraine due to living in a neighboring country. Oh, is this person from Poland or something? I haven't been able to regain the same writing speed since then. I realize this isn't really an excuse. I'm trying hard to regain a decent writing speed, but for the moment I had to split the remaining content until the end of book 3 into 3 chapters due to the long distance between the checkpoints, so I decided to publish chapter 11 separately. The final chapter was always meant to be split into 2 parts with a time skip between them, like chapter 10, so you can at least rest assured that the ending of chapter 11 won't leave you on a big cliffhanger. Also, due to the many delays I've had in the past, I've decided to make the estimate much more vague this time because I still don't know how fast I'll be able to write. Proceed to next chapter. Let me see if I got this straight. Hardrick tells Meredith, you people have been gathering a huge amount of energy from mages since the beginning of the tournament, all for the purpose of killing Aiden. Yes, Meredith says, and if you don't manage to murder him by yourself, you want us to be your backup plan, Hardrick says. You want us to put him down like some dog after you left him weak and vulnerable. Is that what you're asking of us? That is not exactly how I would have phrased it, but in essence, you are correct, Meredith says, somewhat apprehensively. Do you have no honor? Hardrick says, while giving Meredith a look of pure disgust. Well, he's from a warrior clan, so makes sense. Perhaps there has been a misunderstanding, Meredith says in a slightly more nervous tone than before. If you will allow me to explain one more time what we need from you, I'm sure we can reach some sort of agreement. No, I think I've heard enough, Hardrick says as he gets up from his chair. Fearing that Hardrick might try to attack her ally, Diane attempts to stand up as well, but Meredith puts her arm in front of her and stops her before she can get up on her feet. You and the rest of your Lasetti underlings might be fine with using such underhanded tactics to defeat your enemies, but I will have no part in this, Hardrick says. Find someone else to do your dirty work. He then turns away from us and storms out of the room without looking back once. Hardrick, wait up. Darren shouts, but he gets no response. I think I better go after him, Darren says, this time turning to Meredith. The last thing we want is for him to get in some conflict with the Lasetti from one of your opposing factions while he's still pissed off. I'll try to bring him back if I can. There is no need, Meredith says as she still seems to be collecting her thoughts after what just happened. We will resume this meeting at a later time. I'm sure that you all have a lot to think about. Alright, Darren says, we'll see you again later. Let me see if I can catch up to Hardrick in the meantime. Hey, wait for us, Flower says as she and the rest of us are leaving our seats so that we can follow Darren, who has already rushed out of the room. We're coming too. Actually, I would like to have a quick word in private with my nephew and Kate, if you all don't mind, Meredith says. It will only take a few moments. Iluna and Melindra, who have both stopped in their tracks, now they're looking at Meredith suspiciously. It looks like neither of them is very comfortable with the idea of leaving us alone with Meredith and Diane in the same room. It's fine, Kate tells Melindra and Iluna. We'll be fine. You go on ahead. Okay, Melindra says as she nods her head. Let's get going then. She then leaves the room together with Iluna, and then Meredith waits for a short while to make sure that the others are no longer within hearing range of us before she speaks again. I have a question for the two of you, Meredith says. What would you say is your group's opinion on Aiden? Do your friends consider him a friend or a foe? Isn't this maybe something you should have considered asking before telling us to kill him? Kate says, confused. You're right, Meredith says. I should have asked you this before, but I suppose that I never really considered the possibility that anyone could take that mass murderer's side, except for maybe Melindra, who has known him for a long time. However, your dwarf friend's reaction to my request has made me reconsider my position. Aside from his talk about honor, I felt that Hardrick might have a slight reluctance about killing Aiden. I'm not sure if I understand why. Perhaps the two of you could enlighten me. Well, he's a warrior, so how do you expect him to poison his opponent and then kill him? Aiden has helped us on several occasions, so it is hard to consider him an enemy. Aiden has acted friendly with us in the past, but I've never trusted him. I'd say that Aiden is neither our friend nor our foe at the moment. Yes, he has tried to kill us as well, so I would say he's neither a friend nor a foe.